I'm so excited to share this video with you today. And if you don't know me or you're new in this space, I am Allison Lancaster. I have been a digital marketing specialist and expert in the online business blogging space since 2015. So I've done this for 10 years now. And before that, my background was in marketing and events. So I've been in the marketing space for a very, very long time. I'm based in Johnson City, Tennessee. Our office is in Johnson City, Tennessee, but we serve clients worldwide. And so a lot of you, whether you're a small business owner or you're a blogger or you're an Etsy shop owner or whatever niche you're in, these tips today that I'm going to share with you and this information is something that applies to all of us who have a small business in 2025. The landscape has changed a lot really in the past 5 years since COVID and all of those things that happened. Just small business in general has changed, and many of you have ridden out the waves and you've seen things change. And just when it seems like things are going to settle down, we have AI and we have algorithm changes. And it seems like there have been a lot of quick changes, rapid changes in the online marketing space really in the past couple of years. And so today, I want to talk about what's really going on with online marketing in 2025 and what you can do about it. And the reason that I really felt called to do this video is that, one, I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm in the Facebook groups, the communities, all of that, just like many of you are. And I see a lot of information, and a lot of it's really great information. I also have my own online community. We have almost 2,000 members currently. It's a free online community. If you're not a part of it, you're welcome to join it. I'll put a link in this video at the bottom of this video for you to be able to join it if you want to. I share marketing tips, things like that over there. But also just kind of in general in the online space, I know whether it's Reddit or Facebook groups or whatever it is, again, there's a lot of information out there, and I do think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. I think that there's unfortunately a lot of doom and gloom out there. And if you've been in my audience for any amount of time, you know that I'm try to be a very positive person, but I also try to be a very realistic person. And I don't share things unless I have data to back it up. If I am in my community and I share something, I'm like, hey, I don't have a ton of data to back this up, but you might want to test this out. I am seeing it work for a couple of clients. I'll tell you that. I'm not one to push this strategy and that strategy and change this. And well, XYZ said this, so let's do that. I just think that that is not helpful to anybody. I think that it wastes a lot of time. And unfortunately, over the years, I've had a lot of clients come to me who said, I tested all of these things that I saw in this space and that space, and they're just not working for my business. And so my business and my strategy and everything that I do for my clients is really based on what works for your business. No two businesses are the same. We may have competition, of course, in the same niche and things like that, but no two businesses are the same and no two audiences are the same. And so I really think that this video is necessary for that reason. And I hope to be a voice of reason in a sea of a lot of unreasonable thoughts and panic and doom and gloom and all of these different things that I know a lot of us are feeling or seeing right now. And so I know that it can be easy to just go, oh my gosh, do I just throw in the towel? Like there's all of these changes, AI is taking over, it's spam, it's all of this. I'm just going to leave. And if you want to, that's okay. If you really feel like you're done in the online space, you want to go do something else, go do it. Like that, I applaud you. However, I don't want to see somebody who has put their hard work and their effort and their time and their money and years of their lives into a business that they really truly love, like many of you, and just throw in the towel because they're in a group or they saw a thread that's all doom and gloom and they just feel like there's no hope for any future of this online space. And so that's why I want to be kind of this voice of balance and this voice of reason in the midst of all of these changes, because there are some things that we all need to be aware of. But I just want you to know that this video is not going to be filled with doom and gloom. I'm going to share very realistic things that I'm seeing, but I'm also going to share some very actionable tips and hopefully give you all some hope and some positivity to move forward if that's how you decide to move forward with your business. And so And let's talk about where things stand right now and where I know that we are heading next. And based on what I've seen over the past 10 years, that's why I'm sharing this with you. These are not things that are I'm just sharing with you on a whim and with no data to back it up. These things that I'm sharing with you are all based on data, and they're all based on my experience as a marketing expert working with thousands of businesses in a variety of niches over the past decade. And so any person that you're getting information from, whether it's in a Facebook thread or a community or an expert, make sure that they have a good set of experience. And so that is one thing that I want you all to take away from this is whoever you're listening to, if it's not me, that's okay. Make sure that they actually have the credentials to back it up, because unfortunately we are seeing a lot of people pop up that are not experts and they're just looking to make a quick buck or take advantage of people. And so that's the last thing that I want to see any of you experience. And so let's talk about the Google situation first and foremost, because I know that for a variety of businesses, this affects you, whether you're a blogger, whether you're a coffee shop or a hair salon or name it. Google affects you because that's how people are searching for you. And so there have been a lot of Google updates, and I won't go into specifics because many of you know the specifics. But I also, specifics vary based on, again, your business and your niche. And so if you want more specifics about the Google updates, there are a lot of great resources out there. Feel free to comment on this video. I'm happy to share some with you. But I just want to kind of say what we all know. Google has been volatile, and honestly, it feels like a dumpster fire in some ways, shapes, and forms. There's a lot of negativity out there surrounding Google. I get it. I'm just as frustrated as a user as many of you are. I'm frustrated as a content creator as many of you are. I'm frustrated as a small business owner as many of you are. But I also think that we really need to be realistic, and we also need to decide, what are we going to do about it? We can sit and we can be frustrated and we can try and figure out the why, and we can try and figure out what do we do next and all of that. But I think that we also need to start asking ourselves some very difficult questions. What's next? And I think that that looks different for many of you. And so I've seen people say, I don't care if Google pulls me in search again. I've seen many people say, my Google search is taking off. And so I think that you have to look at it as, what does Google mean for your business? If you are, let's say, a blogger and you have lost 90% of your income due to Google traffic, the questions that you're going to ask yourself are different than the questions that somebody who, again, is a local small business owner that needs to show up in Google search to be able to be found. So I think that we all need to get very honest and real with ourselves in the sense of, do we want to invest time in Google? What does that look like? What ROI is Google giving us currently for our businesses? Not what ROI did Google give us back in 2020, because we're in 2025. And that's a very real and honest question that I think that we should all ask ourselves. And is there potential there for us to see more growth from Google? I think that we also need to remember Google's not the only game in town anymore. There's Bing, there's Yahoo, there's a million other search engines. But I do think that with AI, search has forever changed. The way that people search has forever changed. However, I do think that, and I've seen this time and time again, I've been saying it since AI pretty much rolled out in a widespread way, but people, it's like a new shiny object. People are going to play with it. They're going to see what it's about. And then they're going to see very quickly that it's great for aggregating certain answers. But I think that that human connection and that human touch, you just can't replace that with AI. You can't replace that with spam. You can't replace that with junk. Has it, in a sense, temporarily replaced some high quality content? Absolutely. I mean, we see that every day. But I think that we need to be very realistic in the sense of, if we are looking to create a long-term sustainable business, what does that look like? Does it look like panic and doom and gloom for 2-3 years and I don't know what to do and I'm just going to quit and, I hate Google and bashing Google on the internet and all of that. And I get that. Trust me, I do. And I sympathize with those people who have lost 90% of their income from Google. I've seen many clients affected by that. It breaks my heart. But I do think that there's a time that we have to set our foot down and say we're moving forward, whether it's with or without Google. And so I think that some actionable insight that I would give you is you have to get very real about how Google impacts your business. Is it search coming to your blog? Is it search traffic coming to your local business? Are you getting nothing from Google? What does that look like? And so I think that you have to also equate that with the time that you're going to spend investing in Google. I think that real content is always going to win out in the long run in a sustainable long-term business. It just is. And so I've seen time and time again, I have some clients that their blogs are their hobbies and they just write what they want and they write what they care about. And a lot of those have really won in the recent updates because that can't be replicated by AI. And so I think that that is something that we all need to consider, that we all need to think about. And again, everything that I'm sharing here, I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want to upset anybody, because you may have written for things that you really care about and you still were hit by a 90% Google drop. I'm not saying that you did anything wrong, and I would never ever blame the creators for any of these issues and changes in Google. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm saying. I absolutely think it's an issue with the platform. I think that it's a whole laundry list of things. But I also, my audience is the small business owner, the creator. And so I just want to be very honest with you all in the sense of, I think that it's time to we decide, are we moving forward and how are we moving forward? Is it with or without Google? And if we move forward with it, is it still as much of a portion of our business as it was in 2020? And so that's why when we talk about actionable insight, when it comes to the Google situation, I want you to focus on diversifying traffic sources. I have preached and preached and preached from day one, diversification. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket, as my mama used to say. Grow your email list, prioritize Pinterest, which we'll talk about in a minute, and other platforms. Do you have older content that you can maybe re-optimize? Did you maybe write it just for SEO? Well, maybe we need to add more of a human touch to it. Do we need to shorten it? What is creating the best user experience? I think that user experience in the long run is always going to win the day. Are there certain search terms that AI is probably from here on out going to take over? Absolutely. But I do think that there are certain things that you, as an authentic content creator, AI is not going to be able to replicate. And so I think that if we look at our older content and go, okay, I wrote this for Google. I used this tool and it's just written for Google, and now it's not sending me anything. I want you to kind of reframe, well, how can I write this for a friend or a user, or what do my users want? Don't be afraid to ask your users what they want. Poll in the Instagram stories, poll your email list. Reach out if you have raving fans that are commenting on your post all the time or that visit your business. How did you find me? How are you finding me? How are you finding other local businesses? What does that look like? Really asking those questions and really engaging with your audience, your customers, is going to be key. And so AI has changed everything fast. Content creation sped up. There's also a ton of generic junk content. And I think that we are kind of in the midst of this wave of people who have seen an opportunity to ride this AI just mass content mills. There's always been content mills. There's always been low quality content mills in the online space. There's always been spam. There's always been, whether you're a local business or you're a blog or you're an Etsy shop or whatever your business is, there's always been that low quality content, those low quality businesses, that low quality, insert term here. But let's talk about how AI should support, not replace, your voice and experience. And so I think that AI is here to stay. I think that if you don't want to use it, that's absolutely okay. That's your prerogative. I don't use it much. I use it a tad, but mainly for more personal things like, hey, I have this grocery list. Can you categorize it into the sections in the store? So I'm not running around the store. I think that a lot of times using AI, you can see like everybody's captions start to sound the same, or everybody's this start to look the same, or whatever. And so users and audiences are very, very quickly picking up on that. AI should support, not replace your voice and your real experience. And so that, in my opinion, is going to be key. I want you to lean into real and relatable content. I've shared this far and wide: email list, Instagram, Facebook group, whatever. But I think that the days of these perfectly posed photos, and especially in like the food space, I think that beautiful images, absolutely, people are always going to like them. They're always going to want to look at them. But if a user comes to your site and they can't tell, is that an AI image? It looks too perfect. They're going to kind of question that, because once you've made an AI recipe and it's failed, especially as expensive as ingredients are, or you've made a craft and it's failed, or you've gone to visit this place and it's not there, or it's not, what AI made it to be, whatever that looks like, you're very, very cautious as a user. And I've said this for a long time now. Users are going to have about one experience with something like that, and they're going to be much, much more cautious about AI when they have that experience. It's the same thing with, we've all seen the memes of, well, I searched this and AI gave me this unsafe or unrealistic answer. It's the same thing. I saw something in a group yesterday where someone was talking about sourdough, and bulk fermentation is a term used in sourdough. And AI, the answer was BF stands for boyfriend when it comes to sourdough, which is obviously not true. So I think that obviously AI is going to get better over time, but we as creators and business owners should be getting better over time as well. And we should be listening to our audiences. And so again, I am not blaming creators. I'm not blaming businesses at all, but I really think that in some points we have lost that listening to our audience, because for so long, it's been taught like Google wants this and Google wants that, or Pinterest wants this and Pinterest wants that. And so I think that we really need to get back to, what is our why? Who are we writing for? Who's our ideal audience? Who's our avatar? Who are we selling to? What do they want? What helps them? And so really writing for that, really creating content, products for that. And so I think that casual videos, real life photos, authentic stories, behind the scenes, anything that you can do to show your audience that you are a real voice and a real person behind your site, behind your business, the more longevity you're creating for your business and your platform. So anything that you can do with that, I highly, highly suggest. I've shared several tips of things like even just taking your phone and snapping a picture of your grocery cart, what you're purchasing, to make XYZ recipe or craft, or, if you're a fashion influencer or your fashion brand, like just real life changing room, like photos of you, or, XYZ person in the outfit, not this perfectly staged, mannequin photo. Let's just use that as an example. I think that people, they want to see what things look like on real bodies. They want to see what things look like in real kitchens. They want to see what real families look like. They want to see what that place looks like when you travel to it. And maybe you do turn off of the side street from the beautiful, main street. So I think that anything that we can do to give our audiences those real, authentic answers, the more longevity we're creating for ourselves and for our businesses. And so I also want to talk about Pinterest. Many of you know that I'm the Pinterest guru, or whatever you want to call it. I don't call myself that, but I've had a lot of people tell me that. So I've done Pinterest. I've been a Pinterest strategist for, again, a decade now. Pinterest management is a huge portion of my business. It's not the only portion of my business, but many clients come to me for Pinterest. I have a lot of students that come to me for Pinterest. I have a Pinterest mastermind. And so I also, on that side of things though, am very realistic. I'm in there every day. I'm seeing the changes. I'm seeing the frustrations. I'm seeing the AI. And so again, I'm also in the groups. Pinterest has been frustrating this year. Let's just be honest. It reminds me of, there were a few years ago where Pinterest really tried to be a social media platform and not a visual search engine. And so honestly, a lot of creators left the platform then. They were like, I'm frustrated, I'm done. Like, I don't want to deal with it, because they were putting in the effort and they just couldn't make progress. I will say that those creators have been clients of mine, who have stuck it out, who have went through all of the changes, they're still seeing a good amount of traffic from Pinterest. Yes, it's frustrating. There's been algorithm shifts, visibility's lowered. There's been the temporary removal of the visit site button, which I share a lot about on my site. I share constant updates in my mastermind and my group, to my email list. It's still going on. And yes, this year has been tough on Pinterest. I'm not saying that. I also see many of you who have lost traffic and impressions, and I get it. It's frustrating. But I also think that we have to be realistic. And again, this question is different and this answer is different for each one of you. And so I can't answer this question for you. But I think that we have to ask ourselves, okay, maybe in 2020, I was getting 300,000 visits to my site from Pinterest. This year, I'm getting 150,000. That's a 50% drop. That's a huge drop. But is that traffic higher RPMs? 99% of the time, yes. Is it more traffic than Google or other platforms are driving to that person's site? A lot of times, yes. And so I think that we have to maybe adjust our expectations a little bit and absolutely feel the frustrations, absolutely vent, absolutely reach out to them. You can reach out to their executives or on LinkedIn. You can submit help tickets. I am talking to a higher level team in Pinterest directly. I can't share a lot about that publicly just because I want to be respectful of them, and the fact that they have been working with me directly. But they are absolutely listening. They're watching what's being posted on social media, and I feel like, understand the value of creators to their platform. If we take our toys and we go home and we don't post our content on Pinterest anymore, eventually, very quickly, Pinterest doesn't have a platform. Well, they have shareholders, they have users, and that is just, it would decimate the platform, to be quite frank. And so I think that my predictions are we're going to see a shift of some people will leave, some creators will leave, and that's okay. That's their prerogative. I don't blame them. I don't fault them. I understand the frustration. If you need to take a break, if you need to leave, that's okay. But I also think that is going to open up more opportunities for those who stick it out and those who, okay, we're going to just kind of stop watching this for a little bit, the metrics. We're going to keep as is. We're going to continue to pump out high quality content. We're going to continue to follow best practices. And we're just going to see where this all shakes out and how it all shakes out, but also adjusting expectations. We may not have the traffic that we did in 2017 or 2020 or, insert year, but this chunk of traffic that we're getting is still driving a good RPM. It's still driving a good chunk of our income. It's still driving a lot of, sales or newsletter signups, things like that, because Pinterest users' behavior hasn't changed. They're engaged, they're purchasers, they're planners. And so I think that if we look at it from that kind of bird's eye view, instead of like, I'm frustrated, I'm in the groups, I'm quitting, I'm frustrated, I'm doing this, I just think that overall it's going to be better if you do decide that Pinterest is a platform you're going to stick it out on. I highly encourage you to stick it out, not just from a Pinterest strategist perspective, but also from just a general marketing perspective. I have seen the ebbs and flows on Pinterest over the years. I've seen people mass exodus leave. I've seen all of this, but at the end of the day, I see it being a consistent traffic and income driver for so many. And I actually got an email last night that I can share with you directly from the team that I discussed that I'm working with on Pinterest. And while it's kind of more of a generic answer, it was more hopeful for me because I am getting almost daily updates from them of, this is what's going on. We've made progress on this issue. This account, seeing this, all of these different kind of things in the background that I'm working on with them. And I know that there are several other Pinterest management companies that they're working with all of this, but they're listening to their creators, which is more than we can say for some platforms. And so I'll read you the email that they sent me last night. It says, "We truly appreciate your patience and understanding throughout this process. I understand it's been far from ideal, and we are hopeful that this will be resolved soon." And so, again, I know that many are saying, well, they're never going to fix it, and it's never going to be back, and it's just going to die a slow death, or Pinterest is all of this. I get that. And again, if you want to kind of go in that direction, that's okay. I don't fault you. I'm not mad at you. That's your prerogative. But I do encourage you to stick it out. They are acknowledging there's an issue. They're acknowledging there's glitches in their algorithm. They're acknowledging that the spam bots that they turned up to essentially help us creators, us business owners, and to combat the spam and the AI have caused some issues. Anytime that you do anything like that, you're training a bot. So it is going to take some manual tweaking and some time and some adjusting. But I personally love the fact that they are removing the visit site button when it leads to spammy content. Obviously, I don't want to see that on organic creators' content. That's frustrating. It's annoying. It's hurting people's incomes, and they know that. They've acknowledged that. They've apologized for that. They're trying to work through it. And again, I know that some people have been argued with about this. That's not what they're doing. I get that. That's your prerogative. That's your opinion. I'm just sharing mine. But I'm also sharing mine based on a decade of facts and data and what I've seen happen. And personally, I think that if this was the way that Pinterest was going, that they wouldn't even be looping in people like myself and other people and listening and being empathetic and saying we're listening and we're understanding and we're hoping we resolve it. We know it's a glitch. We know it's an issue. We're trying to resolve it. I think they would just say, this is what we're doing now. This is what you should do. And so sorry, but move forward. They don't have the teams to be able to invest the time in replying and working through these things and asking what we're seeing on the front end. So I am very hopeful. And I think that Pinterest is here to stay. I think that you need to, again, get back to the basics. I know that there have been certain strategies, certain tools that push like keyword stuffing and 50 to 100 pins a day and all of that. And I have screamed from the rooftops, don't do that. Create a good user experience. And I continue to say that. Create a good user experience. I want you to create real content, honest content that matches the content on your site. Don't try and keyword stuff. Don't try and game the system by changing keywords in every single pin. They're picking up on that. And so again, I think that it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road for a little while. We saw this again several years back and things settled out, and the creators that did stick it out saw massive, massive increases in traffic. And so I think that in the long run, this is going to be a really good change for Pinterest, but it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride. And I think that we need to maybe adjust our expectations and really get real about our content. Is our content useful? Are our pins useful? Have we just been writing to try and game the keyword system on Pinterest or Google? And if so, we need to backtrack a little bit and we need to write for our users. And so I really want you to take away from this video, if you've made it this far, that I want you to focus on helpfulness, and I want you to focus on what your audience wants and real, authentic content. I think that that's going to be the future of online marketing in general. These perfectly curated feeds, I feel like they're on the way out. I think that there will always be some that are there. But I do think that building a community and building an honest and open platform, whether again, you're a local small business or you're a large blog or somewhere in between, you need to build that community. You need to interact, you need to engage, you need to create real life content so that you build that relationship, because trust building, relationship building, whether that's in the form of an email list, that's in the form of Pinterest traffic, Google traffic, whatever that looks like for you, I really think is going to be the key to a long-term sustainable business when it comes to online marketing. And I think that if we're having this conversation again in 10 years, I'm going to tell you the same thing. You need to create and curate that relationship. And so getting back to the basics, trying to drown out all of the noise and all of the negative Nancy's, or, again, let's be realistic. Like, yes, be realistic, be honest. Like, you have to be that. There are some hard conversations to have as business owners and some hard things that we need to look at. But I think that we also need to try not to get bogged down in it's over, it's done, there's nothing you can do. We need to look at, how do we move forward? things are changing rapidly. How do we evolve with them? And I don't think that that means chasing after the next shiny object. I think that that means getting and being very honest and solid in who we are, who we're creating for, who we're selling to, and who we want to create that community with, and creating that community and just cultivating that connection with them. And so, yes, 2025 has tested all of us. 2024, 2023 has. But I do believe, and I'm seeing this time and time again, so many creators, so many businesses are diversifying, and they're really listening. They're seeing, okay, there was this gap. My audience wanted this. Now I'm creating it for my audience. And it's really giving opportunities for creators, business owners to be more creative, which I love. I love seeing that. It almost feels to me like the earlier days of blogging and online business, so to speak, where it's kind of like the Wild West. It's very scary. And there's a lot of very new things, but I think that those who stand firm and this is my platform, this is who I'm talking to, and who don't chase those shiny objects, you're going to come out on the other side. And so keep showing up, keep creating, try not to get frustrated, and also just encourage that cultivate that community with your audience. It looks different for each of you, but definitely try and cultivate that community. And so that is my 30-minute, what's really going on with marketing, what's going on in this online space. I hope that you were able to find some valuable information in this video, and I look forward to your comments, your questions. Feel free to join my community over on Facebook. You can also book a strategy call with me. I do offer strategy calls where we can look at your business specifically and formulate a plan to move forward. I do have a few openings for those currently. Feel free to reach out. My website is AllisonRLancaster.com, and I'll talk to you next time.